We start off with the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords, yes, it's the liar, cheater, deception card, but this is about, this doesn't always have to be someone that's lying. I mean, I'm looking at the other cards and I'm not getting anything like that. I'm actually getting, it's more about, I don't want to deal with this, or escaping from something. I'm getting more of that. Have a look. He's always like running off in the middle of the night, making sure no one sees him. So what is going on at the moment, Aries, that you don't want to deal with? It could be that you're dealing with someone who doesn't want to deal with something, right? And what do I mean by that? This can be the kind of the person who just nopes out of a situation, just ghosts, just disappears. Because they don't want to deal with something. And yes, usually the underlying energy, it's the energy of the person that I'm reading for. So this could be, you could be, if you've been thinking about something, because it's swords, right? Thoughts, beliefs, ideas. You've been trying to get to the truth, what your own truth is, trying to figure out, you might have been working on something in secret. Sometimes this can come up when we've got a secret that we're working on, and it's time to reveal it. I always think when the Seven of Swords shows up, those secrets, even if there are secrets, they get revealed. It's time for them to come out. Otherwise, the card wouldn't show up in a spread. What's the point of telling us there are secrets, right, if they're not about to come out? So I always think with the Seven of Swords, they're going to come out. That's why the card came up. And that might be you, that you're ready to reveal something. Or like I said, I think you just don't want to deal with the situation. I'm getting that. Why? Because I see the Seven of Swords kind of running off the guy running off this way, and we have death at the heart of the reading. So that's transformation, that's change. Now, this is never a surprise. The death card's never a surprise. This is an energy that we're very aware of because it's slow energy. It rolls through our life. It can be a period of time where we've lost things, people have gone, situations, things that just, it's like things keep ending. Death of an old situation, birth of a new. That's what the death card is. Usually when it shows up in a spread, it's where we're at that point where a lot of things have left and we're like, okay, that's the death of all those things. Where's the rebirth? Where's the new stuff? And it feels like it's coming in. And that's kind of where you are in September, trying to figure out what am I doing? What's the new thing that I want to do? Why am I saying that? Well, we have the Nine of Pentacles coming up as a past energy. And this is, for all intents and purposes, someone who's very comfortable where they are, about enjoying what they've created. This person has created great abundance. I mean, the card before the Nine of Pentacles is the Eight of Pentacles. So that's someone who's worked very hard at something. That's the apprenticeship card. So they've tried to gain mastery. And in the Nine of Pentacles, this person has mastery over whatever it is that we're trying to master, right? I always think the falcon that she holds is that. And she's created this beautiful garden. But this can be a situation that, it becomes kind of stifling because it can become a gilded cage. I always say it's the big fish in a small pond kind of syndrome. And the past can be last week, last month, last year. There's no, it doesn't have to be something that just happened. But we look at the past to know why we're going the way that we're going. And for some of you, this is about your security and your stability. And maybe you stayed in a situation, whether that's your job, because, you might have got paid really well at your job, or, it was convenient, it was close to your home to get there, or, it's okay working there. You did really well there. It could be in a relationship, because we've built a home together. It's all safe and it's secure. It kind of feels though you've gotten to a place where whatever your life is, whatever this situation relates to, it's just, you've become that big fish in that small pond. There's more. There's a whole world to explore outside of this garden. And I think you're starting to get that. I don't think you've acted on it yet. Maybe you've been planning something. Like some of you might have been researching other jobs, thinking about setting up your own business. It could be in a relationship where you just think, yeah, it's okay, but where's the passion? Where's the excitement in this relationship anymore? So we've got that coming up. And so it's interesting to me that the Queen of Pentacles comes up in the present, leading on from this. She brings the value, right? I mean, they're very similar energies. Both of these women are, even this one is about confidence. This person's very confident, very independent. They can do everything themselves. And the Queen of Pentacles is like that as well. She's very good. And I think there's a strong message here for you, Aries, that you kind of understand about your own self-reliance, that, you don't really need to rely on anyone to get what you want. That, if you created this in the past, whether it's with someone or if you did really well at that job, you can do that anywhere. I always say the Queen of Pentacles, she brings the value. Yes, she can see the value in whatever situation, and she's very good at turning it into great abundance. Like you will see Look at all these kind of fruits that she has around her. That's great abundance. And she's created all of that. This lush garden that she has. Again, right? So this is about knowing that you can, whatever it is that you're trying to create, you can do it. And relying on yourself. You don't really need anyone's help to do this. But the Queen of Pentacles, she sits underneath this Seven of Swords. So have you been working on something in secret? Or, you know, if this is someone else, and that could, you know, it's a general reading, so the energies can go both ways. This is Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. Whether they are that sign or not, the signs don't own the card. They just lend their energies to them. And it's that kind of very hardworking, reliable, dependable energy. Have you met someone now, because of that King of Pentacles that was at the bottom of the deck? Have you met someone who you're starting to see a different way? I mean, as much as you don't need someone, maybe you've seen someone else that they started their own business, or they left a relationship and went. It's that kind of energy. It's like, well, if they can do it, I can do it, right? Why can't I? Now, if this is a relationship reading, I'm going to say this to you. It kind of feels like, even if you live together with this person, there's a kind of energy of two ships passing in the night. That's what's kind of coming up. Like two people that very much live their own lives. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think if more couples, if they each had their own life and brought it together and shared their worlds with each other, that would be amazing energy, right? But it kind of feels here that the sharing part of the two worlds is not really happening. And maybe that's why someone's planning an escape from this, or someone's planning to leave, or they just don't want to deal with the situation the way that it is. But there's not really drama coming up here. It just feels like this intense desire for, I need something to change. I need something to change. On the contrary, it kind of feels like it's become too stable almost, you know, it's too, it might be that, you know, all it's become about is saving up for that holiday, or saving up for that house, or it's just work, you know, well, we need to do this, or we've got these bills to pay, and we need to do that. That's what's kind of coming up. Like I said, there's no passion here, especially in the first four cards. And we've only got one major arcana card that came up, and that's death. This is about letting something go, you know, releasing it, that it no longer serves us, and we want something fresh and new that comes in. That's something that is good for us, that, you know, we would feel good doing it. And that's why it's no surprise to me we have the Eight of Cups coming up as a future energy. So, I mean, if you're not there yet, I mean, I kind of see with the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, this kind of evaluation happening. Taking stock of what's gone, what's left, what am I dealing with. There's a lot of kind of figuring out going on. I kind of see that with the sevens anyway. You know, so we're trying to figure out, is it worth the risk? Is it worth doing this? Do I want to stay in this with that Seven of Swords there? And with death, there's just a desire for transformation, change. And at this point, it might be even that I'll take change, any change, as long as it's change. But if you have it, and it may be that as you kind of get into September, or even for the large part of September, you're not quite ready to make that choice. I kind of get the sense, and that's just intuitively I'm picking up, that, you know, it'll be by the end of the month, or even, you know, going into October, because this is a future energy, where you finally decide. Now, when I have clients, or when I deal with people and they don't know what they want to do, and I would say, well, if you don't know what to do, then don't make a decision. You know, that's okay to decide not to decide at that moment. Because I think when the Eight of Cups hits, that's when you know what you want. That's when you know. Or when you know what you don't want. This person will walk away from these Eight Cups. And why does this person find it so easy to walk away from the Eight Cups? Why? Because they don't mean anything anymore. This is that card of, you know, you're emotionally done with the situation. And think about it. When you're emotionally done, there's no pain left. There's nothing left. You just don't feel anything for it anymore. That's why he's able to just leave the Eight Cups and wander off, right? And the whole thing with the Eight of Cups is it can have it obviously is gone from the Ace to the Eight. You've put in a lot of time and effort into this, emotionally invested a lot of time and effort into this. And I think it gave you security for the longest time, but it just does nothing for you emotionally anymore. So this is the sense of someone who's emotionally done with the situation. They're just like, you know what? I deserve more than this. I deserve better than this. And it takes faith if you think about it. I always think this card takes a lot of faith. Because he has 8. It's that whole, you know, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. And this guy's like, well, no. The bird in the hand does nothing for me. I will go for the 2 in the bush. And so he walks away because something's missing. And what does he walk away to? It's the 9 of Cups. And he trusts that he will find that ninth cup. And that will be the wish card. That will be the heart's desire. That's what he truly wants. That's what he truly deserves. And that is the change, guys. You know, if you're longing for change in your situation, and I say this all the time, and I'm always posting about stuff like this on Instagram as well. A lot of people, they wait for change. They wait for it. In fact, recently, because there's been this energy like kind of everything feeling stuck. And a lot of people, and I've been saying it, you know, the green lights are going to turn on, be ready to go. Everything will start shifting. It's okay. And so many people are like, yeah, I'm waiting for that green light. But it's almost as if we're all in our cars waiting for that light to turn green. But some people are in their car, engine on, everything ready. They're loaded up. Everything they're going to take on this trip, they're ready to go. Other people, they've not even started the car. You know, they're kind of wandering around somewhere else. And so are you going to be ready to go when that light turns green? And it all depends on us. You know, nothing ever just happens. We create it. We do it. We take advantage of that energy that's coming in. And it kind of feels for you when your green light hits, what it is this sense of, well, this is not working. This is not working. I want transformation. I want change. And the only way I can have this transformational change is to first acknowledge that this is not working for me. And then to say, I deserve more than this. I deserve the ninth cup, right? To have faith that there is more for me out there. And that takes you to do that. Because I kind of get the sense that with all of these cards, have a look at them. With the Nine of Pentacles, she's created that garden. The Queen of Pentacles, she brings the value. She's the one that looks at something, can evaluate it. I can make this work. I can do whatever. It's her skills, her knowledge, her hard work that gets her what she wants. But it's almost as if, I don't know, if for some of you, it's going to have been that you've been waiting for a reward from this. But whatever's come in, it doesn't feel like it's enough for you. And that's fair enough, you know. It just because we have a dream when we start, like when this guy started collecting his cups, it was amazing for him, I'm sure. That's why he did it. But when it stops calling to us at an emotional level, then that's when we think, well, what am I doing here? Is this even my truth anymore? What's the advice? Well, the advice is the Ace of Cups. And this is a new beginning, a new emotional beginning. This is something that does fulfill you. Now, the Ace of Cups has been coming up so much. It's one of those cups that I've been, It's one of those cards that I've been seeing a lot of. And one of the things that I've been saying about this card a lot is it's your cup. We start off with your own cup. And it's overflowing, right? So what's in your cup? What is in your cup? The reason it's so important when we get to the Ace of Cups, how we begin this cycle. And yes, it's about love, happiness, emotional growth, spiritual growth, healing energy, right? All of this stuff is signified by the Ace of Cups, but it's just the beginning. And we always start off with our own cup. Now, when we take it out there into the world, we're going to move on to the Two of Cups. That's when we meet someone else who matches our cup, right? That's the cycle, how it goes. And so that person's cup is going to match your cup. This is why when the Ace of Cups shows up, it's very important to know what's in my cup. Do I have self-worth? Do I love myself? You know, every great love story begins with how we feel about ourselves. Do I have peace? And I kind of get the sense too many people go out there with an empty cup looking for someone else to fill their cup. But if the other person's cup matches your cup, it will be empty as well, right? And it will just highlight how empty your cup is by how much that person doesn't have to give you. So we always start off with looking at what's in our cup. So what makes you happy? What is your heart calling you to? What do you love? These are the kinds of things to go for. You know, I get asked a lot of times, especially for work readings, let's step away from the kind of love and romance stuff for a moment. If we kind of look at, even for work, people that love to do something, they love to do it, but they won't do it because they think, oh, it's not really financially viable. And so they get into jobs that don't do anything for them. Like, you know, I don't know. I've got someone that I know who is a computer programmer, but what they actually would love to do is to make music. But music's never been seen as being financially viable. So for some of you, it's almost as if you've been doing something, whether staying in that relationship, whether staying in that job, because it's good financially, or it brings you that security, but it's not enough for you. It's not enough. You want this. You want your cup to be overflowing, right? And that's the advice. Go for what your heart wants. take it from me, and I come from a corporate background. I've worked in offices and, all sorts of stuff, that if you love it, you do it for the love of what you're doing, and it will always pay. It will always pay if you turn what you love into your work. It doesn't even feel like work, and you'll work even harder at it. Right, let's get you some oracle cards and we'll see what's happening. Let's get you one from the romance angels first of all. It's not worth it anymore. The 10 of Wands came up there. This is about putting down a burden as well, right? The 10. This is a card that's been coming up a lot as well. I've been seeing the Ace of Cups and the 10 of Wands everywhere. And it's almost as if I know what's not working for me. All of this that's why I love about retrogrades. They get us to slow down and to do some of the inner work and to kind of look at, well, what's really going on with me, right? Because we can't distract ourselves with outward things. And here it's like, whatever your situation is, where it once may have given you security and stability, now it's almost become a burden. It's that stifling energy. That's why you're emotionally done with it. You're ready to put that burden down. How do you put that burden down? By following what your heart's calling to. Now, this doesn't mean that you actually literally mean the 8 of Cups. People often say that, someone walks out of a situation. I will say this, for some of you, that is going to happen, because with the 7 of Swords and the 8 of Cups, you're ready to leave. But it doesn't have to mean that. It's cups. It's just we're emotionally done. We want to feel a new way about the situation. And the Ace of Cups says that you can. Your heart, your feelings are your divine guidance system. What are they saying? What are you actually being called towards, right? To some of you, want a vacation or a trip. Now, honeymoon doesn't have to literally be a honeymoon. Actually, it could be for some of you. It could be like a second honeymoon. If you're in a relationship and all you guys have been doing is working or focusing on the practical stuff, it may be that you decide to take a trip away together. But it's this honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. So this would also say that, a time for a break, maybe to reconnect at an emotional level, to get that second chance in a relationship. Because the Ace of Cups can be that. A new cycle beginning it doesn't have to be. Got 2 here for you. So it says, do something for someone else. Give your attention to someone else. And I kind of get the sense that this is for whoever has been focusing on their work. Focusing on, and that doesn't have to just be in romantic situations. Maybe your work's been kind of just taking up a lot of your time, effort, attention, all of that kind of stuff. And it could be friends, it could be family, because the whispers of love refers to all kind of love in all its variations that come up in our life. Love's love, but we see it in different ways. But that's why I love the Whispers of Love deck, because it's about all kinds of love. So, giving your attention to someone else, that could help us too. And then you have practice compassion, see things from a different perspective. So it kind of feels like there is something going on here. I think it's kind of been maybe ignored or not seen. 7 of Swords. Maybe someone hasn't felt they could speak up about something or say what's going on in the situation. But, the Ace of Cups comes out of this. It's moving towards something that is more emotionally fulfilling for you. Right, let's get you one from No Place Like Home. And it's interesting that this comes up. And I kind of feel like this is true security. What's home? Home is where we're safe, where we're secure, right? Where there's comfort to be had. And it kind of feels like whoever this message is for, it may not even be for that many people. It seems quite specific. You've been looking outwardly for that kind of support, either from a relationship. In Pentacles can do with, they can be relationships, because it's the physical, earthly aspects, things that we can see, feel, and touch, right? The people around us, our homes, jobs, investments, savings, anything that gives us that kind of security. But No Place Like Home says, you always have a home in yourself. You always bring yourself safety, security, and all of those things that you look for. How? By being true to who you are. And one of the things that I love about Aries, it's one of my favorite signs. I love Aries and I love Sagittarius for this, is because you guys are so real. So real. Like Aries always, it's often said about him that you guys react immediately or do something immediately to something. And why I love that is because there's no time to kind of fabricate or to come up with a facade or to do anything like that. You're just real, right? Your reaction is very real. But you've not been doing that. That's what I'm getting from this reading. It's very kind of like you haven't been doing that. Maybe, and it is very obviously because of the 8 of Cups there, it's because you've not known fully how you felt about it. It's one of those situations where you just think, well, it doesn't look that bad. So, why would I do anything? It might be that, but it's kind of crept up in you. So No Place Like Home says is be authentically who you are. If you're authentically who you are, always true to your own heart, right? You're always going to be safe. You're always going to go out there into the world and be, know that because you're being truthful to yourself, you're stepping into your own truth, right? You don't have to put on a mask or pretend to be something that you're not for a job or for a relationship or for, sometimes we don't even realize it ourselves. You'll always be safe and secure if if you're true to yourself, true to who you are. So yeah, it kind of says it all, right? Whatever it is going to, you have the confidence. That's the whole thing here. Like I said, this is a very confident person, independent, confident. So is the Queen of Pentacles. And it kind of feels like you're using the confidence that you have in one area. It's like a skill set that you have in one area. You might be taking it into another area. But it's about doing what you love. The other area that you're going into, or what you're progressing to, what you're taking to, it's going to require confidence, right? It will require confidence for you to do it. And for some of you, it's going to require confidence for you to actually say what this is. It just feels like something has not been said or not been revealed. And maybe even to yourself, right? It's time for you to get real with yourself and say, well, yeah, I've been confident in what I've been doing in these situations, but now I need the confidence to say, I want to change this. I want to drop this burden. I want to go for what I love. Let's get you a postcard from Spirit and we'll wrap it up. It says, Dearest you, as you think, so will you experience life. Thoughts are that powerful and they need minding. Let the unruly, chaotic ones settle down so they serve you or get released instead of wreaking havoc. These thoughts arise when connected to the energy of fear and often masquerade as truth. Yet the real truth is that essentially all is well. Of course you have thoughts that are positive, strong, organized, accepting, creative, open, and so on. Those are the ones we want you to keep thinking, and they have a less frantic quality. They're stimulating in a good way and don't get away from you. How do you keep an inner eye on your thoughts? Meditate and leave judgment out of the mix. Everyone has those fearful thoughts. Love them, love yourself, and then choose the thoughts you want the world to reflect back. Life is not as hard as you think. Loving you so much. And that's kind of what I was saying to you. What you have in your cup is what you're going to find out there. Your cup will get matched. So how do you feel, right? How do you want to feel? What do you love? It's about always being true to that. And when we are always true to that, like I said, that's what you will find outside in the world too.